Hey, what's going on? What's happening? I want to read something to you real quick. Just bear with me. This is my brother, Pretty Ricky. It's a comment that he made on a video that I did a couple of days ago. So it goes like this. I spent 2 hours of my busy Saturday, which was last weekend, and at the range practicing double tap drills at a self-defense range because you know I got to. I got to lose hours. I even have to make sure I can draw from an appendix or strong side and double tap center mass or head at 5, 7, and 10 yards. And do it under 2 seconds with a reload because I drive around in expensive luxury cars and need to know what I'm capable of. How quickly and how lethal can I be and up to what range? Had to take 3 different firearms, which make up my summertime EDC rotation. I effing hate it, but absolutely don't have a choice. Now I know what you're going to say. Langston, what does Pretty Ricky and the gun range and him shooting guns and the EDC and all the rest of this stuff has to do with the 90s? And I can tell you plain and simple that people such as my brother and I and others, Generation X, we often reminisce of what it was like to live in the 90s. Especially during these hard times that we're going through. And harder times that we're about to face in the near future. You know, Mr. Orange Man is playing these tariff wars. The price of gas is fluctuating, going up and down. Food prices is ridiculous. Rent is ridiculous. The overall cost of living is ridiculous. This is what makes us, Generation X, live in our minds just for a short period of time and reminisce on when we lived in the 90s and how good we had it. Now, taking heed, I'm going to put it out there before I even begin. Gen Z, yes, true indeed, we had violence. We had all of the stuff, drugs and all of the type of problems that you all have. With the exception of that virus thing, we never experienced that. But we went through things in the 90s, but it's nowhere in comparison to what y'all are going through. No way. Nowhere. It's like, man, I get hyped when I think about the 90s and just how beautiful it was. Just how beautiful it was, man. They got videos out there on YouTube, shorts and Instagram and TikTok where they got old footage of HBCU homecomings, North Carolina A&T, Hampton. The list goes on. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these women and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I remember when the women, the black women that is, were just naturally beautiful. Naturally beautiful. No BBLs. No breast implants. No cumbrellas. Just no makeup. Just naturally beautiful. Hair done. They wasn't wearing all types of tight clothes. I mean, yeah, true indeed. There was some scandalous chicks out there, but it wasn't a lot. And you could come up to them and talk to them. And if they had a man, they would tell you, hey, listen, you know, I'm not interested. They would let you off, like, respectfully. You know, you seeing men stomp in the yard, you know, fraternities and different men in the videos, these homecomings. And they real men. Real men. Ain't that a shame that you gotta reminisce of the past in order to know what a real man and a real woman was like? Y'all don't know that. Your generation, y'all don't know what a real man and a real woman is like. Straight up. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Pretty Ricky makes a decent amount of money. Lives in a nice home, nice community. Very positive brother. Why is he talking about being on point? Making sure that he's on point at any given time. I can tell you, because it's gotten that bad out there. It's gotten that bad. Well, you got to be ready for any and everything. And the irony to it is, if I was living in the States, I probably would be right along with them. That prior to me leaving the States, I was thinking about investing in a bulletproof vest. Straight up. I was seriously thinking about, while in the process of me driving in Charlotte, running errands, I would have my EDC on me, but in the back seat, my AR-15 as well. That's how times have gotten. That's how times have changed. I'm not saying in the 90s there wasn't any gun violence. I'm not saying that, in the 90s that you didn't have to watch your back. It's just nowadays you definitely have to watch your back. Like back in the 90s, I can tell you, I could afford to not have a firearm because it wasn't like that. It wasn't violence everywhere. Violence was in an isolated area, and you know where that area was at. Everything else was free zone. It wasn't, motherfuckers wasn't getting shot and killed in broad daylight. Motherfuckers wasn't getting shot up on a bus and stuff like that. And if it was a very much isolated incident. That shit made primetime news, and then years after that, you didn't hear about no stuff like that. Somebody getting shot up at the bus stop or on a bus or something like that. Straight up, man, the 90s was just crazy. You want me to go on the golden era of hip hop? How albums was pumping up. Rappers was popping out albums back to back to back, classics. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Wu-Tang, Nas, Biggie Smalls, J. Rue the Damager. The list goes on. Summer Jam hits. The list goes on. Y'all don't even have Summer Jam hits. Y'all don't even have... Man, that's crazy, man. I could talk about this for days, and I have memories of the living in the 90s, like in North Carolina, just as well as in New York. I remember when Jamaica Ave was popping, the Coliseum, popping. Downtown Brooklyn, popping. 125th, popping. Harlem, popping. Crazy, man. During that time, you know what I'm saying, you had the golden age of hip hop, and it's like black movies was coming out. Spike Lee was popping out movies back to back to back. She's Gotta Have It, Do the Right Thing, Jungle Fever, you know what I'm saying, School Days. Then there was other movies that, Spike Lee didn't direct and produce, like John Singleton's Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, Menace to Society, Friday. I mean, the list goes on, man. We had black movies. We had black music popping. R&B was popping. Rap was popping. We had clothing lines, our own black clothing lines, Mecca, Cross Colors, Carl Canines. I mean, the list goes on. Back in those days, it was just ridiculous, man. I remember going to the club and You know what I'm saying? There was always that one person that had a car, and he was like, yo, man, y'all need to put in on gas. And, man, we'd be like, yo, all right, cool. We get to the gas station. Gas is like, what, $1.15 a gallon? You putting $9 inside a Toyota Camry, you might as well, it might as well be full to the rim. Wasn't nothing to fill a Toyota Camry up. Before you go to the club, you stop at Mickey D's. You know Mickey D's got the value meals and shit. You either getting the 2 cheeseburgers with the fucking medium fry and a medium Coke for $2.99, or you could step it up and get the Big Mac with the fries and the soda. But you know what I'm saying? You want to get the value meal with that shit, that'll be like what, $3.79 including tax. But you know, you always got to get that apple pie, and that's when the apple pies was popping. I ain't talking about them bullshit ass apple pies that McDonald's got now. I'm talking about the apple pies back in the days that was crunchy and shit. Nothing like it, man. Nothing like the 90s. Nothing like it. Y'all can sit here and talk about some, well, you know, our generation got the internet and social media and this and that and so forth. Well, y'all don't know what y'all saying. You know how much fun we had without that shit? Straight up. You know what preoccupied our minds when there wasn't the internet or social media? Life. Living. That's what preoccupied our minds. Having fun. Natural, organic fun. That's real talk. Going in the club here in Chubb Rock, treat them right. Dancing our asses off. You all sweated up coming out of the club. It's 30 degrees outside, but you hot as shit. You so hot, your head is smoking and shit. Everybody joking on you like, yo, look at that nigga, his head is smoking. It's like, yo, where we going? You know what I'm saying? You know, in the South it was either you coming out of the club, either you going to the Waffle House or Miami Subs. Nothing like it, man. Then you at Miami Subs or the Waffle House, you parking lot pimping. Nothing like it. Nothing like it, yo. Straight up. That's real talk. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. And it's a shame that your generation, the new generation, Generation Z, will never get to experience how much fun we had. Generation X when we were young. Never get to experience it. Straight up. That's real shit, man. Never. The only time that you get to experience it is when you hear someone such as myself talk about it. And I'm not going to lie, you're going to get the 90s based on how much I love the 90s and how much I miss it. You're going to get 1 or 2 90s videos per year from me. That's real talk. That's real talk, man. It was just nothing like it, man. TV shows, you know what I'm saying? Like Bill Cosby, A Different World, Family Matters. I mean, these are good, wholesome videos. A Different World. No, this is my word. A Different World motivated me to go to a HBCU. Straight up. When I saw that, I was like, yo, man, I want to go to college. Straight up, man. It was nothing. And being on an HBC, historically black college university campus, was nothing like it, man. Nothing like it. Everybody was just, it was like a family thing going on. You know what I'm saying? The homecomings was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell you, I've been to so many homecomings. So many. But one place I can't even front is like the king of all homecomings. That's just my opinion. It was North Carolina A&T. North Carolina A&T had the best banging ass homecomings. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? And in the South, you know, during the homecomings, everybody showed up and they was putting on their Sunday's best. Real talk. Nothing like it, man. Nothing like it. And before the CIAA moved to Charlotte, even though that was a good move, before the CIAA moved to Charlotte, the tournament that is, it was in Raleigh, and it was popping back then too. There was so many black events, man, and it was black clubs too. Like, it was just ridiculous. Hip hop was at its best. It was at its peak. You know, and man, I can't tell you how many rappers that I've met, that I saw, that I was standing right beside in the club with. Man, just ridiculous, yo. Just ridiculous. And man, we ain't even getting on my New York shit. Summertimes in New York. Priceless. 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 And when you look at now, what do we have? What do we have? Nothing. Nothing, man. So I know some of you, all you young folks, y'all will be like, man, I'm tired of hearing my mom or my father talk about the 90s and blah, 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 and this and that and so forth. And I get it. I get it. You know, but you got to understand, it was just a different way of life. And back then we were living. You go to the grocery store nowadays, man, with $15 in your pocket, you might as well not even walk in that motherfucker. Because a piece of gum probably costs $15 nowadays. But I remember walking in a grocery store with $15 in my pocket in the 90s. I came out with a loaf of bread, Nature's Own, that is. I'm talking about name brand shit. Nature's Own, a loaf of bread, cheese slices, a couple packs of Kool-Aid, a small bag of sugar, a dozen of eggs. Dozen of eggs back then was at the most $1.29. But really it was like 99 cents. But at the most $1.29. A half a dozen would be like 69 cents. You know them biscuits called Grands? You can get you about 5 of them shits in a thing for about what? I think it was like 59, 69 cents too. A bag of, excuse me, a small bag of grits and Nature's butter, that spread shit. They come in that brown bucket where when black people stop, you know, when they use all of the butter spread, they use that as a Tupperware cup. You know what I'm saying? So you go in the refrigerator, open that shit up, you think it's butter, it's collard greens or turkey neck bone or some shit. Yo, man, I'm telling you, the 90s was lit. And I'm glad that I got the opportunity to experience it. Straight up. You know, I look at these videos that's posted on YouTube, you know, and they got footage, old footage of concerts, homecomings, everything that took place, whether it was talk shows or whatever, you know what I mean? And when I look at that shit, I get to relive the 90s all over again. Because I remember, oh yeah, I remember when that came out, that song came out, or when that talk show came out, or when that movie came out. I get to relive all of that shit, and the movies was amazing too. Not just the black movies, it was, you know what I'm saying, action movies, horror movies. It was a variety of movies that Hollywood was putting out. Nowadays, movies suck. Nowadays, there's no creativity in the music or in the movies. And it's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. Y'all ain't got shit. Y'all ain't got nothing, man. You know, $15, I remember it. Plain as day. You know what I'm saying? That shit, I was able to survive. Oh, and a couple of bags of oodles and noodles too. I was able to eat off of that shit for a couple of days. If I had $50 and I went in the grocery store, oh shit, I was coming out with at least about 8 bags or something. Man, in the 90s, you could live. You could live. You know, it's just the truth, man. Like, rent was like, I think a 1-bedroom was like $450. Shit, I looked at the 1-bedroom apartment in Charlotte before I left. That shit was like $2,000. Like, god damn. crazy, man. It's crazy, man. The 90s was just so beautiful, and I'm just glad that I got the opportunity to experience it. You know what I mean? But it's just sad. It's sad, like the day and time that we're living in. And you know, if I had to close my eyes today or tomorrow, I could honestly say that I lived my life. And I remember, like, back in the days when I was younger, old folks used to say that all the time, and I used to be like, what the fuck they mean by that? And now I know exactly what they mean by that. Yo, I lived my life 10 times over, man. The 90s, I got to experience, man, even though there was racism and all types of shit going on, I still had a fucking ball. I had a ball, man. And I didn't start having children until I was in my 30s. So from, you know, like when I left home all the way up to 30 years old, I ain't have no children. So just think about that. No responsibilities. All I had to do was fend for myself. And I have friends that cared about me enough to the point where, you know, shit, if I needed a place to stay, I could sleep on anyone's couch. Because back then, friends were dependable. Friends were real friends. They wasn't trying to stab you in the back on some et tu brute type shit. Man, I could go on. I could go on, man. It's just like when I read that comment that came from Pretty Ricky, I was like, yeah, times have definitely changed. Definitely changed. But this man said he gotta practice. Gotta be on point. Shit crazy, man. But this is the world that we live in nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And it's only gonna get worse. You know, and I encourage for those that, live in a state, city and state that respects and admires, respects and, respects your Second Amendment right. I would tell you to take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And get you a firearm and make sure that you are protecting not only yourself, but your family if you have one. It's a shame nowadays that you have kids that are saying, the young generation, the Gen Zs, that are saying that I don't want to have kids. This generation is saying that they don't want to have kids. And they have two reasons, which makes sense to me. One is because that's the extra bill. That's crazy that children nowadays, if you have them, they are a burden. Where in the past they were a blessing. And the second reason why they don't want to have children is because they don't want to bring children into this fucked up world that we're living in right now. And that's a shame. But this is the way that they're thinking. And I can't blame them. Even though I disagree, because kids are our future. Children are our future, But I understand it. And it's a shame that when I need to put a smile on my face, I have to reflect back to the past on when I had fun. When life was beautiful, colorful, vibrant. In order to put a smile on my face in the present. That nothing can make me smile nowadays, besides my children. Nothing else can make me smile nowadays when I look at social media. Or when I look at the state the world is in right now. The only way I can smile is if I reflect back to the 90s. And how beautiful it was back then. Other than that,